Topic we want to talk about is I was planning to have a review of yesterday's webinar where Will Morganweck um, basically built a community website in 45 minutes using the DNN platform. I was very excited when I heard of this webinar coming up because it's something that has been near and dear to my heart. I wanted to see a presentation of this to understand all of those pieces. We've been doing DNN sites for a number of years, and in my mind, users of a DNN website kind of fall into two general categories. They're the administrator types, and I can set roles in DNN to give them all or very little power to go in and make a change to the website. But the idea of that person, that group, that's that section of the group, is that they update something on the website. Then there's the other side of the group that's like the members only section and the old school of building a website where you've got pages where people log in and they can see something that the rest of the world, the general public, can't see. But that's not really engaging. That's not really interactive. All of the tools that Will was talking about, that he was going to be talking about in this presentation, make that interactivity possible. And they're all available in various forms in open source, not open source, it's the wrong word, in the DNN ecosystem. So the core has some of the pieces, and the several of the vendors out on the DNN store have the others. And so I was very excited about it. Unfortunately, the presentation itself, the webinar, had a real problem. It was a GoToWebinar presentation, and something was going on. I don't know what it was. They didn't know what was going on, but the lag time of watching the screen, as it was being built was horrendous. So pretty much a waste of time. There is a video if you go to dnnsoftware.com, go into webinar, look down the list, you'll see the listing for this particular webinar. You can watch the webinar. You'll see what I mean, but you'll be wasting your time because you really can't get a sense of what he was doing because you can't see it. Will did a fine job, and he was trying really hard, and he did create it in 45 minutes. I will say that literally he wrote this stuff. In some of the cases of some of the things that we were seeing, he wrote it. So having him be the one that builds a platform in 45 minutes, yeah, you could do it. He did, admittedly, as he was building things, mention things like, oh, if this kind of thing happens, you have to go over to this other place and do these three things. Well, an expert or somebody who's done this for a while would know that. The general newbie to the system wouldn't know to do that, and they'd get stuck. So the 45 minutes or less, kind of gimmicky, admittedly. The concept, though, of having it where you can actually see a community website on the DNN platform, brilliant, and we loved the idea. So big kudos for putting that out there. It's so easy for the corporate folks to put together a evoke content, evoke social presentation because it's so clearly a direct connection to the bottom line for those guys. So we appreciate whenever they talk about the DNN platform, and it shows their support of the platform, which is wonderful. What I will do, though, is give a couple of a little bit of a recap and just hit salient points, and it'll take just a couple of minutes to do so that you at least have that. I encourage, and Will, in fact, said he was going to write a blog post that covers the steps. I encourage you to watch for that when it happens, to read it, because, again, this guy's the expert. He wrote much of the active social code that was incorporated into DNN as a version 6.2 and became a portion, and then ultimately became DNN and now Evoke Social that the DN corporate sells right now. So in a nutshell, why anyone would want to build a website that has, that's about community? Well, just the 3 billion people on Facebook should tell you people want to talk to one another. Why let Facebook have all the content? Why not have it on your own corporate website? That's the idea. They want to ask questions. They want to share and acquire knowledge. They want to communicate with each other, whether it's the customer to customer, customer to business person. And then, of course, keeping people on your site soaks your brand into their head as they're talking to one another. So that brand awareness is big. And then finally, in communicating with internal colleagues, a huge reason for having a community-based website is an intranet. But it doesn't have to be the old school of putting a server up in your building and behind the firewall and then using special thread tools, etc., to talk to one another. Why not just put a website out there in the world so that no matter where your people are, they jump on their phone, they jump on their home computer, and they could talk to one another. Think of the additional productivity that you get as a business owner by having your people work for you at 8 o'clock at night when they're supposed to be at home away from the office, but they want to jump in there and they want to get a thought across or talk to one of their colleagues. Wonderful idea. Why not make it a regular website? DNN has all the tools. Again, they showed a couple of basic screens like this one here, where in the case of employees, it's a great tool for an intranet. In the case of a customer community, it's a great tool for a business to build a website where your customers can go online and talk to one another. They can answer questions for each other. They could be your best cheerleaders. And the beauty of DNN is that you can get all of that by combining cool modules and portions of the core of DNN to give you all of that. So Will talked about that, and he pointed out this screen here where all these little pieces all are up there in the cloud, and they all plug together nicely because of DNN. Then that's when the train wreck occurred. We jumped onto the website, and the screenshots were so slow that it really didn't help much to even be on the website, watching him build it as he built it. But he did build pages, and I put this up here on the screen for you to share with you. Just a couple things. First of all, the main thing is that he's using several modules on several pages. So he made it rather straightforward and clear cut. But you can imagine a community where there's a page where you have discussions. There's a page where you read a blog. There's a page where you look at the calendar. There's a page where you jump into different groups and join different conversations. And then there's a page where you see who the other people are. So home, discussion, blogs, events, groups, members, made perfect sense. So that's the kind of pages that he had on there. In a nutshell, let's see what I have on the next screen. Yeah, let me jump back. The discussion page was active forum. Active forum, which is a module that's on Codeplex. You can download it. It's not part of the core, but you can put it in there, and you then, voila, have a forum. And it knows all about all the other social aspects of the stuff that's in the core. So definitely just download and use Active Forum for your discussion. You can also use the journal module. And on the homepage, he had the journal module on there. The journal module shows various activities. So if one person talked to another person and said something, it shows up on the journal. If somebody posts a document using the document module onto the website, that could be another page, then that would show up in the list of activities. Blogs, of course, what he used was Mandeep's live blog. As an example, Mandeep's live blog costs some money, a very, very reasonable price, and you could buy it at the DNN store, dnnsoftware.com. Sorry, store.dnnsoftware.com will get you there, or there's a link on the dnnsoftware.com main heading. So you can read the blog. And in fact, what you're looking at here is the out-of-the-box skin, but as a skin, he was using one of Mandeep's skins. It was called Portos. Unfortunately, because Will was trying his best to make this work, and because of the problem with the lag time, he thought maybe it was attributed to the fact that the skin was doing a lot of internet calls. Not at all the issue. The issue was really probably with uh, a server or GoToMeeting itself at that time. Something was going on. Nothing to do with Mandeep's skin. Portos works just fine. Unfortunately, I don't have it on the screen here, but I'll show you a link in a minute to get it. Beautiful skin. Just one of a number of very good skins that are out there. And it's responsive, which again, another important element of a modern website. So people are reading these things, being interactive on their tablets and smartphones. The event module is the DNN core events module. It's been recently updated. It knows about social stuff. Plug it in there. It's free. It's part of the core. Groups had the journal module on there, and then social groups, which again, social groups is a core module. He didn't get a chance. He did do some quick configuring, but again, it was he was talking and saying that he was configuring it, but it was like about 3 slides behind, because of the lag time. So you couldn't actually see it. Again, you probably want to download social, try it out on a page, see what it does. But it does show your activities. It shows notifications, messages between people. There's some nice stuff there. There's also a module called console that you'll want to take a look at as well. That's also part of that. And then the last one is members, and it uses a module called member directory, and it's templatable so that you can show your members and profile elements of your members on that page. It's a really nice way of people getting to know one another. Maybe they've got an avatar so that you could see their picture. Maybe they've got something in their bio. So you could put all of that information up there. So I'd consider using the member directory. So that was in a nutshell what he talked about. It took 45 minutes. By golly, he was done building a website in 45 minutes. But unfortunately, out of all of that activity, we saw maybe a dozen at best screens while he was busy doing the work during that 45 minutes. So I think I probably showed you just as much. This one, of course, is a very important slide, and it shows where you can get some of this stuff. So jump on. He's got some short URLs to get you there quicker. But jump online and buy some of this stuff. He also mentioned a few extra folks. Xmod Pro is a cool tool for building extra modules that don't exist yet. You can use it as a core for developing your own custom module. Very neat thing. Ultra Video Gallery is a sister product to Ultra Media Gallery. You may very well have used one of those, but putting video up on your website, you can make you could make the next YouTube, or at least a YouTube that's private to your membership, which would be great. And then DNN Chat, which is Chris Hammond's software, that you might want to have some live chatting going on your website, not just posting on a forum. That's all great for folks that come back later and look. But if you want to have a live discussion at a particular time, then jump onto the DNN chat. So that's pretty much what we did for that one, the DNN webinar from yesterday. And keep your eye open for a blog post from Will that has the basic steps, what he did. And if he ever does another one, the build it in 45 minutes, I recommend that it's more like anatomy of a social platform website where it's all built and we just kind of walk from slide to slide. I think the rush to get things built, the stumbling over changes and such like that, you could skip all of that and go straight to the meat, which is what somebody that wants a site like that is interested in.
Yeah, but he built a skeleton of a website. He didn't actually build a full-blown, ready-to-launch, production-ready website in 45 minutes.
Oh, a great point. It's just the basics in the 45 minutes. Another reason why it might be better to show, like do a case study, a site that actually exists that are using that. So if there's a customer that would be willing to share that, especially if it's a private website, proprietary information or such, that would be wonderful to give a presentation on that, and how all these core pieces or components that are readily available to the general public built on top of DNN platform. Uh, that would be wonderful. So yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, because we built websites quickly for clients to see what functionality can be enabled in under an hour or so. I mean, that's relatively straightforward and easy to do, even with some third party modules and stuff like that. But the as they say, the devil's in the details of making things user friendly and making things clean and looking right and being responsive and working on different platforms and that type of thing. That takes a little more time. So I appreciate the marketing. Build a website in 45 minutes, but I don't want to take anything away from what he did, but if websites were, if good websites were able to be built in 45 minutes, everybody would be doing it and we'd be out of business. So we know better, that it takes a lot longer to get all those modules working nicely, playing together right. It takes a lot longer to do that. So if you're watching this and you're a site owner and you're thinking about doing something like this, 45 minutes is a marketing term. And it takes, many, many hours to get things working just right for your customers and that type of thing. So we highly recommend that you use, a systems integrator like ourselves or like anybody else that's out there. Find yourself some experts to work with that know the system well, and that can help you do the things that you need to do to make your website work the way you want it to work.
And just like what Jim just said about finding somebody, um, if I take off my salesman hat and put on my web developer hat, it's going to save you so much time in the long run. Now, if I keep both of those hats off, even if you do it yourself, we just want to warn you, it's not going to take 45 minutes. It's going to take a lot longer than 45 minutes. Many of our clients, is a phrase Jim likes to use, they like to move the furniture. So, like you can imagine the old joke of the moving company guys bringing in a sofa, and the lady of the house says, let's put it there. No, can you put it on that wall? No, can you put it on that wall? That's what happens with websites. No one ever is happy with the first shot at it. They want to make changes to it. They want to see how things work, but they need to be visual. They need to see it. So it's going to take a long time. You'll save yourself a ton of trouble.
Time, aggravation, and hair.
Right.
If you call a systems integrator, and it doesn't matter what platform. I mean, if you're just looking at DNN to evaluate it, or you're looking at some of the other platforms, again, find yourself an expert to work with. You don't have to have them do everything, but it's certainly nice to be able to reach out to that expert, ask some questions, get the right answers, and be able to move forward quickly. So we highly recommend that, and not just us, but any of the hundreds of DNN experts that are out there. Find them and work with them. Absolutely.